What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Going for Three podcast. This is episode 32. My name, as always, is Percy, also known as PTP, and with me is the AOB, the Advocator of Buckets, Chris Collins. How we doing?
Going on, man? Uh, doing well, doing well. Among things, Lakers blowout last preseason, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Lakers, this is the last two divisions of the division breakdown that we've been doing here on the pod. We got the Southeast and the Pacific, and kind of similar to like the Nets, Sixers, like that type of division. I'd say the Pacific also surprisingly I feel has a lot of potential to have multiple playoff teams in it as well.
Perhaps,
Yeah,
perhaps.
but as usual, we're gonna start with the Eastern Conference division first, which is the Southeast division, and
Yes, sir.
let's start with the Magic.
It's up to you. I mean, if you want to go alphabetical order, or just go through perceived competitiveness.
Yeah, that. I know the Magic ain't making the playoffs, so I'm gonna just get them out the way first. I mean, off season they lost Robin, but I mean that's like veteran type of stuff. And as far as their draft and stuff, I feel like they did things, you know.
Things. Man, listen. They got it, they got the best forward out of the three as of right now.
Oh yeah, most definitely, because
I mean,
like Paolo's
listen.
looking like a star off the rip.
I mean, I don't know about that because I think it takes more than I think it takes being elite at more than one thing usually.
Mm.
But I mean, he's gonna be able to score the ball off rip. I mean, he probably average at least 16 points a game this year. I mean, 16, got an NBA body, 3-level score, uh, and he knows how to, he just knows how to get down to business, bro. Like he really does. He's a bucket, and availability is the best ability, is what they say. And also, right now, he's just better than Jabari. That is. So
Yeah, just at this current moment, and like you said, as far as availability,
there's a relation to Chet.
yeah, because one's not playing. But then as far as to the team, even like Isaac, for what their aspirations was for Orlando, he hasn't been playing in a long time. So the PT is it's already probably going to be there regardless, but the PT is definitely amplified while they're trying to figure out what he's doing or potentially what happens with him during the season. So
Yeah, they also and they also took Houston as well.
like Caleb Houston,
Yeah,
who actually looks pretty
from
good in
your
the
from
summer
your.
league. Yeah,
I mean, listen, they've needed shooting, so I mean,
yeah, most
yes,
definitely
he
with
he
a
definitely adds
necessity.
to that. I mean, he adds depth to their backcourt. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say if they needed that, if they can get all their guys healthy, but I mean, that's kind of we'll touch on that in a little bit.
Yeah, but as far as like their re-signings, I mean, they brought back Mo Bamba, who I felt took a pretty decent leap last season as far as stats are concerned. Starting to figure it out a little bit more.
I was like extremely tempted to start singing the song, but I couldn't really think of any appropriate part of the song to sing, so I just said
Yeah,
I said this instead. Either way, though, yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely took a decent leap. It's it's really about time. It's been some
yeah,
years. It's been what 3 years, right? So it's about time to start seeing some progress if he's going to be able to be like that productive NBA player that he was projected to be. So um, yeah, for sure. I mean, they brought him back on a pretty friendly deal, in my opinion. two for 21. So yeah, not mad at it. He
Yeah,
kind of he flashed some of that potential as far as being he flashed some of that potential as far as it being sustainable, as far as being like a rim protector, a stretch big, all those things. So, and he was healthy, which is
the bigger part of it.
hasn't been much of the case. So,
Yeah. But and speaking of healthy, another player who they acquired through a trade, they re-upped Bowl, and obviously it's not looking too good as far as the aspirations and the quote unquote potential that he possesses. But I'm more or less just hoping that he gets well for the simple fact of he has he's shown flashes with the Magic. Really, I don't think I've seen much. Like I know, I think one of the preseason games he had like 9 and 9, like yeah, 9 points, 9 rebounds in like 20 something minutes, which I mean isn't spectacular, but I mean it's working back from I think the injury he had that nagged him last season. But if all is healthy, their future should be pretty bright. I mean, you got Paulo, who at this current moment is looking like the best out of the top three, just based off of what's been shown. So
I don't get the Bobo situation. Not sure why he's there.
yeah, he just got tossed
I
around down the
mean,
stretch.
he has, but at the end of the day, we can talk about what it looks like he should be able to do if he gets minutes or whatever. But I mean, he's getting tossed around for a reason, and we don't know that reason. It could be, something internally, play wise, injury. I don't know, but I mean, he hasn't been able to stick.
Yeah,
So I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think it's not as good as it seems. And yeah, like you said, we just talked about Mo Bamba. Like I don't understand. The signing doesn't really make sense to me. I guess I don't know. I mean, maybe
yeah,
it's just a flyer to see what he can do, but I don't think he fits if they're gonna have Mo Bamba. I mean, and then if John Isaac's gonna be there, I mean, he's not gonna play that much at all, in my opinion. But we'll see. He'll come off the bench. I'm assuming. So
yeah,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Um.
So, hmm. Guess we can go Wizards now. Yeah, Wizards.
Well, no. Hold on. Relax. Calm down. You're trying to jump off the boys too quickly now. Come on, we got to talk about something now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year. I'm expecting, if he can stay healthy, be on the lookout for Markelle Fultz, comeback player of the year candidate if he can get, his big toe situated. He actually broke it, I think, during like training camp or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, Markel's been someone who, definitely had a checkered to the NBA career, whether it's injury, basically weird situations. It kind of all stems from that. I mean, but he's still just 24, 6'3", 6'4", athletic, can handle the rock, can finish at the rim. I mean, definitely, he had to recreate a shot, largely, in my opinion, due to that injury and how it was handled. But I mean, he's starting to kind of get comfortable with his shot again, especially with the mid range. The three will come if he's out there. He just has to be out there, man. The talent is there. The comfortability is getting back to where it needs to be. So he just needs to be out there, man.
Yeah. So kind of.
He's integral. I mean, really their core has been injured the last 2 years that they've been trying to build around, whether it's Markelle or Isaac. Isaac hasn't played a game in 3 years?
Yeah, I think they said.
It's been a
Yeah, I
while.
think they said he's 25 and he hasn't played basketball in 2 years. Or he's only
Yeah,
25 and
so
hasn't played basketball in 2 years.
yeah, the most important thing about them really is just health. Whether it's Fultz, uh, Bamba, Isaac, even Suggs. Suggs has been in and out as well. So
Yeah, I was like, 'cause he just got hurt recently, I believe. I think he
yeah,
was at preseason games. So Which I
This
feel in
is
a way
true.
like their guard situation, depending on how the injuries shape out, at this point it all kind of just matters about who's more available like at the time. And I feel like in the long term, their guard situation might lean towards like Suggs and Anthony, because I mean Anthony has been the more visible player out of the three, but
Yeah, but he doesn't.
he has
He doesn't
moments.
strike me as a
Yeah,
starter, especially not a point guard. Especially not a point guard. And I don't think he's. I think he's better than Jalen Suggs could be. He's smaller. I don't think he. I'm not the biggest proponent of him over those two. I think they have better potential than him personally. Um, but I mean, he could prove me wrong going forward. But I would like Markel Fultz and Jalen Suggs more for this team than Cole Anthony personally at this moment. I mean, he's a bucket. Don't get me wrong; he can
yeah.
score.
Like I said, like I mean,
But
long term, as far as like if they wanted to have him as a spark plug, I mean, yeah, he got bunnies, he shoots, he plays hard, got that. Some people say he got that dog in him. I don't know, but
I mean, he's like, yeah, I can see that. I just don't think he's better than the other two
yeah,
players.
yeah. But yeah, the two-way potential of Suggs and Fultz definitely is the more like appealing aspect of it. But if they had to choose which one had to start, and then like who might back them up, and they had to go off like film or something, might be tough.
Yeah. Uh,
I forgot Franz
all
Wagner.
right.
How
Yeah,
did I
that's
forget
all I
that?
got. That's
Yeah.
all I got.
I forgot about Franz Wagner, my guy, Michigan. What am I doing? He taking that leap. I ain't gonna lie. He taking that leap.
I mean, he's definitely a good player. He's definitely the better one of the brothers.
Yeah, because
Got
Yeah,
nice versatility. I mean, he's pretty nice his rookie year. So I mean, yeah,
yeah. One of the
I definitely.
sleepers actually. Now that I think about it, like I don't think anybody really thought he was gonna be like the type of player that he was. Because there was a lot of things they said was like red flags about him, and he just said, "Ah, no, I'm dunking, I'm defending, I'm shooting," which the shoot wasn't in question, but
Yeah, he definitely showed up and showed out to be definitely a valuable player. So definitely a nice block for them going forward. I mean, with him and Bankero, those wing positions should be pretty solid as far as the 3 and the 4. That 5 position they're gonna have to see.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
definitely trial and error.
I'd imagine that if Jonathan Isaac is healthy, that he would probably start. I'm thinking, and Mo Bamba off the bench. But I don't know. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, it depends. Cause I think they said Isaac grew like I think he went from six. Cause I know he's like 6'10",
He's
6'11".
always yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had been 6'10", 6'11", I thought for a minute now.
yeah. But yeah, for versatility, I could see them starting Isaac for sure. And then I think Bamba probably is the better shooter between the two of them. Probably have him be on your bench unit. So
I mean, yeah, he is, but like Jonathan Isaac is like defensive player of the year type capability.
yeah, but as far as like that front line starting five defensive like presence, I would definitely take Isaac overall because when he's healthy, he literally was like filling the stat sheet on both sides. So at a or at least for like like blocks,
No, he
steals.
was. You're
Yeah,
right. He just has to be out there.
yeah. I don't even know what his injuries be. Like, do it be like leg injuries for him or something?
Yeah, I want to say he tore his ACL, and then he had a setback. Uh, so yeah, he tore his ACL in 2020, and then he had a procedure to repair a hamstring in March. So he was rehabbing the ACL, then had a setback with his hamstring, and then had surgery on the hamstring.
Mm.
So I don't know if it's the same leg, but I mean, either way, there's issues that can create issues whether it's the same leg or not. You know what I mean? If you tear your AC on the left leg, you're trying to overcompensate with the right, which might cause the hamstring. Or if it's on the same leg, that's just like not great for that part of the body to be
definitely.
suffering those many injuries. But I mean, he looks like he's healthy right now. So hey, we just want to see him out there.
Yeah, glad to see Isaac back on that court. Well, now that we cleared up some things.
Yeah, the Magic are Magic are making the playoffs. But Bankero will win Rookie of the Year though. He'll have plenty of touches.
Yeah. I did see he was the fan favorite so far, so that should be interesting to see how that shakes out. Well, yeah, okay, now we can get to the Wizards. Them guys. First off, Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura, man. I need him to get that PT. I think he's back in rotation.
Not even in the picture.
Hey.
Not even in the picture.
Y'all gonna see it, man. Somebody gonna see
it. I ain't know he was talking about the 5th or 6th best player on the team.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is it?
I mean,
like you say it's crazy, but
yeah, because I know, like, I know Kuz is up there.
He's not better than Kuz, Bill, Porzingis, Monte Morris, Will Barton. I give you Denny, but that's, I mean,
I can't even say Denny. I've seen Denny overseas. Denny's hooping.
Okay, well, okay.
I can't even say Denny now. I'd probably say over Monte. A little slight.
Shit. Monte's a bucket. That's what this game was about.
Rui's a bucket.
And Rui not locking down on defense like that for me to be convinced otherwise, or to be convinced that what I'm trying to say. Be convinced that he's better, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Monte was in a backup role, so we'll see. I mean, he'll probably be in a backup role here, but he might get more looks. I don't know. We'll see. How old is Rui? Anyway, 24.
I think he's like 24. I'm gonna have to see.
I mean, he's a good player. He's an NBA player, you know. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah, he got time. Because there's times in the beginning seasons where like he had like he was on that uptick. Shoot, even when Westbrook was playing there.
I ain't gonna say time. Time to do what?
Hey, he got time to remind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, at one point, Rui was on that.
What is he reminding them of?
He was on that uptrend.
What to doing what?
I remember at one point people was like, Rui's like a break of the All-Star, and then he had some stuff going on.
Yeah,
in his personal life.
No.
I remember that.
Stop.
I remember.
You remember making it up. If that man ain't averaged more than 15 points in his career, stop it. Stop it.
Hey, 15 is knocking on the door 20.
That's what we're doing. 5 points.
Hey, round it up. Round it up, Team Broad. Like, I'm keeping it.
So I listen. I was giving you some liberty, but I'm gonna keep it a stat. He has never averaged over 13 points a game. That's like 13.4, 13.4. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. I didn't want to do this to you, guy. But listen, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, still like 13 points per game. I mean,
it's respectable, of course.
Yeah, good NBA. Yeah, because I still see it as like, you know, I still see it as he knocking on the door. Now with this team,
when you say that, what does that mean?
Okay,
remember a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, for the pod, that for the people that don't know, a couple of years ago, I was talking. You know, I wasn't criticizing Rudy, but I was basically bringing up to the fact that bringing context to how down bad the Wizards were outside of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, because at the time, Rui was their third best player, playoff team, and especially at that time, I was like, that means the team is not great. if Rui's your third best player, then there's no disrespect to him. It's more so just talking about who the Wizards had as a team at that moment. Because we just said right now. I mean, he might be fourth, fifth, sixth, depending on So
Yeah.
just something to think about.
Yeah. And also for the
Either way, I
people
mean,
listening, something to look at. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eye on Rui, man, and Denny actually for that matter. I feel like
man, let's talk about the real movers of the Wizards. Man, what are we talking about here, man? Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, $250 million contract. What are we talking about here right now? We're talking about Denny and Rui. Come on now. Talk about the man that's averaging 30. Let's go. Come on. Brad Beal.
bad
5-year
Beal.
contract, locked up, second largest in NBA history. He's not going anywhere. He says, I want to see if I can do something with the Wizards. He won't do nothing, but that's okay. He got the bag.
Yeah, I mean, Bill is a hooper for sure. Bill is definitely like a walking bucket.
He's elite.
Yeah,
Top five in his position.
but
Might be
he's
the
kind of in a
best
situation with
player in his
Lillard though.
position.
Whereas I don't know if it's like I don't think it's a loyalty thing. I mean, it might have just been like they gave him the bigger bag, but it's kind of in that Lillard territory where people would have wanted to see him in a better position to get his chip or be
I
closer to
wouldn't
the chip.
necessarily say I wouldn't necessarily say he's in a Lillard situation just because I don't think he's ever been considered in that same conversation as Lillard. So like Brad Beal's a star. Uh, he was the second best player, maybe 1B on the playoff team with John Wall at times, but like he was never considered like Lillard was a top 10 player.
Yeah.
That's what he was. That's what he was considered. I mean, and he was carrying teams to the playoffs. I mean, like they had been to the playoffs I want to say every year, whether it was through the play-in or whatever for
get it at the
up
last
until
minute.
last year. I want to say. Yeah, so I mean, no, I don't want to necessarily say it like that, but Bill is serious. He definitely is. And getting him back would definitely help this team.
Yeah, and well, I guess we already kind of covered like the Will Barton, Monte Morris. Obviously, like they got swapped, in the trade that sent Ish and Contavious to Denver, but Johnny Davis, not really seeing it right now.
I mean,
It's early,
have to
but
be he doesn't have to be what he needs to be immediately. Basically, what I'm saying is like I don't think he has like a bunch of like expectation coming in. Like he can kind of ease his way into the role that he's going to play for this iteration of the Wizards team, and he'll be fine, bro. Like he just has to work out the slow start. Like not all the rookies are gonna start off fast or look great off
not
rip.
all are gonna like hit the ground running, but
Exactly. So I think he'll be fine. I mean, also it's just like he's a player that he can play on both sides. So even if the offense isn't there, I mean, he can still be given effort on defense, making the right plays, things of that nature, and the rest will come.
Yeah, because I was say like the two-way aspect of his game does give him like that grace period as far as he's still gonna give it his all on the other side, no matter the variation of the minutes. So.
Exactly. Is that really about it? I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about KP as well. I mean, I don't know. I think
he looked good when he was healthy.
I didn't think he played. Yeah, I didn't think it was that great though. To be honest, I thought Kuz was still outplaying him, and he kind of took. I liked where Kuz was getting to, and I feel like KP kind of took some of his touches, and I don't know if it was really beneficial, but we'll see. For a full year with the Wizards, Bill back, everybody all back, so we'll see how it turns out.
And I think depending on how they change like KP's role, because I mean, in a surprising way, the defense like because I've seen a couple of like his block counts down the stretch when he was playing for the Wizards. If they want to like transition him into kind of like just like that three like a 3 and D 7 footer, just to protect the 10, stretch the floor a little bit, probably give more leeway for the Kuzmas and the Beals to get the stuff in. That could be a nice little I want to say playing team. So I think they were close. They were close last year, or they got in last year, or probably close.
No, they didn't get. But I mean, they started the season off really well, really hot.
Yeah,
And then they finished terribly, like terribly. But I think a lot of those games that Brad Bill was not there. So, I mean, yeah, they definitely should. They should be looking to be able to make the play in. I mean, like you said, they were competitive for a good portion last year until they finished terribly. But getting back an all-star, their best player, I mean, ideally that should equal, more success. So we will see. But yeah,
yeah, definitely be a team to see how they play when the unit is all together.
they're gonna need 18 to 22 out of Kuz if they want anything. If they want to make anything happen, I'm not gonna lie to you. They need the Kuz train up and moving.
Man, Kuz, hey, this might it's probably about that time. That 22 point season.
I'm about to say, you want to talk about somebody that's really been knocking on the door? Kuz has really been knocking on the door. 8, 19 points a game, 17 points a game. That's knocking on the door.
Yeah, I'm about to say Kuz came in kicking. I know what he is.
That's the thing that I think is like so crazy about like when he had his bad year with the Lakers, which it really wasn't even bad.
Yeah, number
It's
wise, it
just
wasn't even that
like
bad.
no, it wasn't. It's just he kind of got lost in the shuffle. He's not a spot up shooter. I mean, he definitely improved a great deal, but like he's a rhythm guy to me. So like you got to let him cook a little bit, get his rhythm, and they kind of relegated him to something else. And people cracking jokes and talking shit, and you got the analysts
Talking about his
basically picking
fit.
him as yeah. That's the one thing. Like LeBron guy, but the media always picks a scapegoat for his teams when things don't go right. It never fails. So it's just like, bro, they weren't performing as well as a team, and or Kuz just wasn't in the best situation. I mean, we literally saw he left the very next year, damn near a 5-point jump, shooting better from the field. You know what I mean? Ups his rebounds, ups his assists. Like, come on. And yeah, like even like you said, like bro came in averaging 16 points a game with Lonzo. The next year, first year with Bron, averaging damn near 19 points a game. Shit, damn near 20. Well, not damn near 20, but almost 19, which is close to 20.
Yeah.
So, I ain't trying to hear it, man. I ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, man. Like last thing I'm saying, man. They get Rui in the game rolling with Kuz. Hey, look out for the Wizards. Look out for them Wizards.
I ain't gonna say that much, but sure.
Let's get to the Hornets, man. See what these Hornets talking about. I mean, they had an interesting offseason.
Shit, nothing. They had a terrible offseason,
I mean, not
in
for
my
not
opinion.
not regard to the team, but with their players.
What does it? What does that mean?
They had Miles Bridges set for the bag. Did some
He
stuff.
gone.
Yeah, he going now, but he had him set up for the bag. Uh, but probably the main thing I really cared about. I mean, Trez. I mean, he's with the Sixers now, so that don't really matter. But Bridges at that point probably was seen as like one of those bigger pieces. Whether they paid him or not, I don't really know. Well, whether they would have paid him or not, no one really knows. But
They were going to. I mean, he wasn't going. He wasn't going anywhere, bro.
yeah,
He's their young player. Plays well with their quote unquote franchise point guard. They were going to pay him. May have been what he wanted, but they were going to pay him. They weren't going to let him walk.
Yeah.
They were trying. I mean, especially they were trying to trade Gordon Hayward anyway.
Yeah, but not a.
Uh,
You see his haircut, by the way? The new deal for Gordon?
he looks like a serial killer.
I'm
I'm
about
not
to
gonna
get
lie
that.
to
That
you.
hair is nuts. That is nuts.
Yeah, I didn't I ain't like it at all. So,
Put it to the media day with the pomp. It's like a pompadour with the
yeah,
pompadour with the sides off, huh?
I was uncomfortable. Um, I don't know. It was weird. They had Jalen Duran, but traded him. Don't understand that.
Yeah.
Never got that, but it's. I mean, they drafted Mark Williams, which was, in my opinion, a just worse, less athletic version.
Yeah. Just a bigger version
He's
overall. That's like kind of one sided at this point, to an extent.
Is he bigger?
I mean, Mark's like 7 foot
I mean,
or 7'2". Let me see. I
Jalen
think.
Durant like 7 feet.
Oh yeah, Mark's 7'1". Yeah, Mark's 7'1".
Bro, I'm telling you, Jalen Durant got to be at least 7 feet too. Not 7 feet too, but like 7 feet also. I'm thinking.
Let me see.
It says he's
Yeah,
6'10".
Darren
I
6'10".
don't
Yeah.
believe it. I don't believe it.
I ain't gonna lie.
But
If he had those type of bunnies at 7 foot, oh god, he would have been top five.
that's 2 inches, man. Relax.
It's
Come
two
on now.
inches,
That's
but
2 inches.
yeah,
That ain't nothing. I'm saying like that. The man is damn 6, 7 feet tall in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
He's standing near it. So, I mean,
I mean, he's also 18, so I mean, it's very possible that he could still be growing.
yeah. But if he does reach 7 foot and keep that he keeps that bounce, good lord. But, I mean,
You keep saying like these 2 inches will make the difference.
as far as like, cause like for Mark Williams, I mean, the main thing for him was that his draft stock was rising because of his ability to protect the rim. If Dern pretty much gets those extra 2 inches, you know, that's offensive acumen with the defense.
Yeah,
I mean, they also got Bryce McGowan's shooting. I believe shooting guard out of Nebraska in the second round. I seen him in
kind of
college. He got some moments.
reminds me of James. How you
Book
pronounce his
night.
last name? Book Knight.
Yeah, I think it's Book night.
Yeah, he reminds me of him. It's
Yeah.
they seem very similar players. So
Yeah.
uh, a bit redundant, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a questionable pick because I really don't think they needed offense in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, I think they need offense. I think they need offense I think they need offense terribly. They don't have a closer. They don't have anybody that they believe that they can get a bucket in the closing minutes. LaMelo is not that type of player right now. Gordon is not going to be that guy. Terry Rozier, I don't think can do it consistently. I mean, in my opinion, that's a big reason as to why they were getting blown out in the playing games the last 2 years. I mean, last 2 years they've been good enough to be. They've been in the playoff hunt, and they have just gotten destroyed off the floor. It hasn't even been close to get blown out twice. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's been depressing for Hornets fans just to see them like work that hard to get there just to get popped.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. They've been bringing. They signed LiAngelo. I think they signed Dennis Smith Jr. as well.
Yep, Dennis Smith.
Which I'm a fan of that pick, but that's only because I'm a fan of him. I think that's no, I mean, no one really talks about it, but I mean, at this point, I feel like it's pretty clear that his career was completely sabotaged by Rick Carlisle. No one talks about it, but I mean, that report did come out, and we all read it, and then we just kind of pushed it to the side. Like,
Yeah.
it's this dude's sabotaging players' careers, like playing significant favorites for. It was weird. It was really weird trying to pitting his younger players against each other. It was not a good look. And the fact that he has another coaching job after that report came out is wild to me.
With another young
Uh,
team at that. So
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he still is a crazy world class athlete, and now it looks like he's defending at like a high level. He still has this, offense with him, still streaky. If he can play for his second life, he can get his career back on track. Because I mean, the potential wasn't not there for a reason, or wasn't
yeah,
there for a reason. Or if I'm saying, yeah, know what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah. It,
yeah,
the
people
same light that they seen
bring
in him a
that high.
while ago hasn't gone yet.
Exactly. Like he's still 24 years old. Like it's still there.
Yeah,
And I mean, Terry Rozier, I don't think is a permanent option. So who knows? We'll see.
yeah. I mean, they did re-sign Cody Martin. Uh,
They they
which
did.
yeah,
They did.
which I guess kind of might be one of their. I don't think he's gonna help them with their closing, but I mean they do bring back one of their better shooters from last season. It's just they're
He's
gonna
a good
need that closer though.
he's a good player for them. Yeah, they don't have
Yeah,
it. I think, I mean they'll probably take a step back. I mean they lost their 20-point per game scorer and didn't replace him.
yeah,
So uh that's pretty
yeah. It's pretty
pretty important.
important. Yeah, which definitely is unfortunate, and if yeah, that definitely is one of the teams that you can definitely see taking a step back. And if you win the draft, I thought like if they, instead of taking Bryce McGowan, they could have. There was a couple of forwards left in the second that probably wouldn't have emulated what they lost, but would at least made it known that like okay, like you know what's going on, like you know what you missed or you know what's missing. So
Man, yeah, but it's not realistic to try to assume that you're going to get anything in the second round or anybody in the second round that's going to be ready to contribute like that, and be ready to contribute at that level that you're needing. Like you need an all-star. That's just, I mean, that's really what that is. You're not going to find that more than likely in the second round, especially not ready to play like that off rip. Like you might find a gym, but it's going to take some time.
yeah, probably not in the midst of like the first season.
No, no.
Hmm. Let's see. Two of these go with the Hawks. So I feel like they well, it's still up in the air, but they've done.
Are they in there?
I feel like it's still up. I mean, they made the trade, but I mean, I feel like I don't think that's gonna be like enough.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I don't. It's just something about it. Like,
I don't know what you not seeing, because I see all I need to see. I know what I see.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, I don't know, from Rip, the concept enough was all I needed. We've been saying for years. At this point, 3-4 years. Well, not 3-4 years. For what, 3 years? Trey needs, if we can trade that second guy, second ball handler, all-star level running mate. You know, he gonna be good. And whether it was gonna be Cam, it wasn't. Whether it was gonna be Kevin, it wasn't. You know,
yeah,
listen, man, this team's gonna be nice.
yeah,
DeJounte Murray and Trae Young is gonna be nice. Arguably the best backcourt in the league. I'm not gonna say it is, but it's arguably. It's up there with the Cavs. Who else? That it? Up there with the Cavs, the Suns. I'm not gonna say the Warriors, because I don't think Klay Thompson is on these players' levels anymore right now. Currently, he's gonna have to show me that he can get back to that point.
mm,
But even at his best, he wasn't as dynamic as some other players are.
yeah,
So. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like you said, they traded DeJounte Murray, or they traded for DeJounte Murray from the Spurs. I think they traded multiple first round
yeah.
picks.
I think they said Gallo with it as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. I just Actually, let me take that back. I do know. You pick up somebody like DeJounte who can play on and off the ball. We've seen him do it his entire career in San Antonio, whether it was on and off. He was able to adjust with the times. Playing with Kawhi and them, playing off. And then when they left, being more on ball, more focal point, and showing that he can run an offense. He's averaging like 8, 9 assists. Um, Good rebounder for a guard. Can score inside and out. Definitely still working on his game and improving. And then also, I mean, he came in as a defender, and he's still going to be able to defend. And having Trae Young is going to help both of them in that fact, because DeJounte more than likely took a step back defensively last year because of his offensive responsibility. But now, that's going to be alleviated to a certain extent. He's going to be able to focus on defense, focus back on defense again. And then that way he can, you can put him on the opposing team's point guard or best guard. And now, that's going to help Trae even more.
Yeah, keep Trae out the PNR.
Yes. And then the fact that the potential of being able to run Trae off the ball. Now that's something he's going to have to commit to. I mean, we haven't seen Trae Young off the ball in
Ever
5 years. I mean, he was never off the ball at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So
I don't think in high school he was off the ball. That I can
exactly.
recall. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, we might have never seen it basically from him at all. But I mean, it's definitely something he should be willing to do. I mean, you brought DeJounte Murray, you want to maximize all your talents. So being able to do that just gets easier looks for him, easier buckets for the team, makes him more dynamic. If you're maximizing both your all-star level point guards or all-star level guards, excuse me. So
yeah,
I mean,
I feel like that's where like my questions kind of lie, because I mean, even this past season, like when you look at like what Trae Young did last year, it was like he very much showed like why he's that important to this team and this organization. Like I think last year he led the league in points and assists, right?
points and assists.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
but I mean, there was no consistent second scorer on that team. I mean, John Collins is a reliant player on Trae.
yeah,
I would say. I mean, he can shoot, but I don't think he's as
not as knocking
nice
out.
as the stats said in the past. I think he's a good player, but I don't know. I think the contract is a little rich for him.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre Hunter's a 3-and-D guy. Would still a young player, but right now 3-and-D. When he's out there, I mean, Kevin Huerter was underwhelming. I mean, with Clint Capella, Gallinari,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, Gallo and Bogey definitely, or Bogdan definitely would like disappear at times when like certain games was getting to like those peak moments. So
yeah, and Bogey was somebody that they brought in to try to be that second guy, but yeah, like you said, it wasn't consistent. So now he kind of, he's in a role that's probably better for him, being like that third or fourth guy.
yeah,
I think that's going to help him a lot. Something to be said when you're able to slide people into like their more natural roles. Now, I don't know if DeJounte Murray is a championship level, number 2 option. But I mean, he was an all-star for damn near a team trying to compete for the playoffs, relatively. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that. And more so, touching on the point that sliding people more into their natural roles. You saw it. Not to say that this is the same thing, but you saw it when like Kawhi went to the Raptors, where it's like Kyle Lowry is not really like that second option consistently on a championship level squad. He's more like a 3, being able to facilitate and kind of score within the flow.
yeah,
So then, Pascal takes that next step and he's kind of like the second guy, perfect complementary star. And then you just bring in just a bona fide number 1 scoring option. And Kawhi slides everybody into their natural roles. You got Kyle facilitating, but also scoring in the flow. You got Pascal attacking all the opportunities created off of the attention of Kawhi, keeping the defense on their toes, and then you got Kawhi just getting buckets. So it's something to be said to just alleviate pressure off of certain guys, and the addition of Murray takes pressure off of everybody there, everybody. And then and even more so, like, to touch on like the John Collins part, like this also alleviates pressure off him. I mean, he wants pressure and he wants touches. He's gonna get even less now, so I don't know if he's gonna be happy, but he's gonna have an easier time.
Like I mean, because I'm pretty sure like the lob aspect, Trae Young's gonna see them guys. Like that's still a part of his aspect. But like I was thinking, like, because when it comes to like Trae and DeJounte, and even like if John turns into like that fourth, well, actually no, probably like third, fourth option, like. I still look at like some stuff that they brought in. I mean, they brought in Kaminsky, who I can't say at points over the last couple of seasons did prove to be a bit of a spark plug, depending on whatever team he was on, shooting wise. Like they brought in the Holidays, Justin and Aaron.
They brought in some good vets.
Yeah,
definitely. Mo Harkless as well.
Yeah. And then it's like you get like a Jared Culver who kind of is was starting to like get his start figuring out stuff with his career when he was playing with the Grizzlies for a little bit, even in their G League team. And then they drafted AJ Griffin Jr., who I'm not sure how important he is to them now, but
he's gonna play.
Yeah, I mean, he's
just his defense
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have more. He's got more talent than that to be something more as far as potential wise. But yeah, just off of his defense, like he's going to play. I mean, he's a wing that can defend. I mean, those are abundantly important in this game, especially in the East. Or I mean, shit, in both conferences. Like I don't even have to say, especially in the East and in both conferences.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I kind of. It's like when it comes to looking at them, I always want to look at like who's around like Trae and DeJounte, because I already know like them guys are gonna hoop.
So you have DeAndre Hunter, Bogey, John Collins. These are players, man. Like,
yeah,
you got Justin Holiday. I'm not sold on Aaron, but Justin Holiday is a good vet, can shoot. Mo Harkless has been a defender and hustle guy for every stop of his way. Frank Kaminsky is a good player, especially off the bench. Like, they got a team. They got a team.
Yeah, definitely should be interesting. Because I mean, last year they took their step back a little bit. But I mean, they made the conference finals, right? I believe.
When 2 years ago, yes.
Yeah, so like at that point,
last year they lost. Last year they lost to the Heat in the playoffs, first round.
Yeah, so it's like at that point, like the glimmer was there as far as you knew what the nucleus was, which was you start with Trae and you work your way out. Depending on how every like tertiary or like tertiary bench piece works out, I definitely do see them get back in the race or being like contenders in the race.
Right, you was just saying at the beginning that you was that you didn't know. Now you're switching the tune. I got you to come to the good side.
Because I mean, cause I'm still. It's more or less I'm still indecisive because,
But what are you indecisive about? Like, what's the range here?
Because like when it comes to the Hawks, it's always like when you look at the Hawks, you look at Trae Young first. They add DeJounte. You know what those guys are. But even in their respective team, like on their respective teams in the past, it's like, hey, the supporting cast around you is just as important as like your main focal points. And last year, Trae led in 2 stats and still didn't happen for him. So
okay, but what I'm saying is you're kind of setting yourself up. I feel like for agreeing more so with me, because you're saying that we know what Trae Young's gonna do. And Trae Young so far has been good enough to carry teams to the playoffs. But you're also saying we know what DeJounte is going to do. So you add that to Trae. So then it should be better than what it is. It should be better. DeJounte is better than anybody they've had at that second spot. Even the year that they went to the conference finals. Like he's better than Cam and Kevin combined right now. Let's to be honest.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
two
yeah.
people, but he's better. He's going to contribute is going to be better than both of what they're doing. So just look at the series last year when they played the Heat. All the attention that they could just run at Trae Young.
Oh yeah, he
You're
could
not going to be able
bully.
to do that no more.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do that no more.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it. Yeah. Cause I got when the beginning stages, I was looking at it, I was like, ah. I
I
know,
don't know why.
I was like, I know what they've done for the team, but then I'll be like, hey, sometimes they get with certain players, certain teams, and then might take a dip, might disappear. I don't know.
The only reason, no, you don't go for no All Star to just, you don't go 29-9. He's not going. He's probably not going to average 29 rebounds and 9 assists, but it'll probably be around, probably 16 to 20. Probably and still high rebounds. Probably like 5, 6, 7 assists. But I mean, you don't go from that to just,
Yeah.
nothing. And they fit perfectly on paper. It's like on paper, it's a perfect backcourt companion for Trae Young. The only reason that if this doesn't work, it's going to be because of them, mentality and mental.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with their play. If it doesn't work, it's because they don't want it to work. There's no issue with this fit at all. It's perfect on both sides. DeJounte allows Trae to hide more. DeJounte allows Trae to be off the ball and take pressure off of him. Trae allows DeJounte to play off the ball as well. Creates opportunities for him, spaces the floor for him. I mean, yeah.
Should be should be fun. Should be interesting to see what they see the makeup of that team in the regular season.
It need to be a top 5 seed.
Yeah, so I was looking at that too. Like, where do you see, what seeding do you see them with this iteration?
They'll probably be 4 or 5 with between them and Cleveland.
Yeah, I know these got some shakeup. Yeah.
Let me go down the list. Actually, you got Miami, you got Brooklyn, you got Milwaukee, you got Philly. It'll be between 4 and 6. Yeah, they'll be between 4 and 6. They won't be a playing team, but they'll be in between 4 and 6 though. It's gonna be a tight race. There's a lot of competitive teams, a lot of talent.
Yeah, I said he's looking tough right now, looking real tough. And well, I guess one of the teams we just brought up, Miami Heat.
Yep.
I mean, they lost Keith in off season, but as far as what they added and PJ Tucker, I forgot, almost discredited that. PJ Tucker as well, which is probably one of the bigger losses just because of that championship DNA, veteranship at the 4.
Yeah, I mean, this might be. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a slight step back this year. Like you said, free agency, they lost PJ Tucker. They didn't really bring anybody to replace him. They re-signed Caleb Martin and Vic. And they were both decent last year. So, I mean, they also re-signed Dwayne Dedman, this decent off-the-bench player. And they gave Udonis Haslam another contract for 20 years. Don't really understand it. But, what it is. It is what it is. He's keeping some young kid not in the NBA. So,
that's my only thing with that. I understand UD because pretty much he's their bench coach or their player coach. Why does he just want to put on the suit? I don't get why he has to be on the team to commit.
Because you can't be a player coach if you're not a player. So
yeah,
and it's just what they want to do. So it is what it is. But I mean, this team is like they need guys to step up. They need guys to play better. Like it's just what that is.
Yeah. They also gave Tyler Hero his extension as well.
Hell, what they give him?
I think it was like a 4 year. Let me see.
4 years, 130.
Yeah, 4 year 130.
Yeah. I mean that is pretty it's a pretty rich extension. I'm not gonna say that he doesn't deserve it. It's kind of a lot for a player that's gonna be coming off your bench.
Yeah, because people were saying that as far as when you give somebody that type of extension, but then you say he's your sixth man, it sends a mixed signal to him and everybody else. Like you're paying this much to the sixth man.
I mean, he averaged 20 points a game. He's the best shot creator, or arguably the best shot creator on a championship level team. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think he was a little banged up in the playoffs last year as well. But
It definitely nicked up what he did show up on the court, but kind of like how you said, as far as guys need to play better. I mean, there were times where when he was healthy, like he'd have off shooting nights. Duncan Robinson as well. They would have off shooting. He would have off shooting nights as well. It comes down to Jimmy.
having no help.
Yeah, like Jimmy and Bam kind of trying to. Well, I think even Bam missed some time last season, I believe, right?
No, Bam played terrible. Bam was
Yeah,
struggling.
yeah. So
Bam did not play well. He didn't play well at all. He wasn't being aggressive. Um, yeah, no. Bam was a big issue as to why the situation was happening.
yeah,
So, um, yeah, they just need guys. I mean, they didn't really make any significant acquisitions really out of without outside of bringing back their own guys. So,
yeah.
man,
I mean, they drafted Nikola Jovic.
yeah, he's not gonna play. Yeah, that's a future asset. I mean, he'll probably whenever they start playing Yurtsevin significant minutes will probably be around that same time that he starts playing too. There are some years away. Even if they ever really play significant minutes for the Heat, or if they
Yeah,
just might be used, to get traded later down the line.
for
They're
something
good
bigger.
players they're good prospects for sure, but just not. Yeah, they're just not ready yet. But yeah, I mean, Tyler. Yeah, yeah. It's just they have to play better, bro.
Yeah,
They have to play better.
yeah. Because I
I mean,
think
Tyler Hero averaged was it 20 or shit 9 points a game against the Celtics. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna cut it.
yeah,
And 20 in the regular season. He only played 4 games. I get that, but if you out there, you got to give me the production that you paid to do. And I stress it again when you got Jimmy out here just playing like inspired basketball. I'm not gonna say like Jimmy didn't have bad games. He had some bad games in the playoffs, but I mean he was also hurt as well.
yeah,
He's been 30 and 40. I think the one game he had like a bad game, he was like hurt, like he shouldn't have played, like he had a knee injury, and he shouldn't have been out there. But it's just like I don't know. You hate to see you hate to lose when like your supporting guys aren't doing what they need to do.
yeah. Because we already know like what
Like
happens when everybody's clicking. Like they make the finals. So
yeah. And Jimmy, I mean, bro, like Jimmy in the last year's playoffs, Jimmy averaged 30, 27, and 25 respectively in each series. All well higher than his season average, shooting damn near 50% from the field, and it it hurt me honestly to watch this man dropping 40 and people and just not getting a contributions that he needs.
yeah,
Because like Jimmy high key really don't even like to play like that.
He don't like
Honestly,
scoring like that.
yeah, he don't. He don't like. It's one of those things where like he's like, fuck, I got to do it, so I'm going to. But he don't like. Jimmy likes to play within the flow of the game. Like Jimmy really wants to be like a 20, 23 type score, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. You know, that's what he want to be.
Yeah.
But they needed him. They needed more. I mean, he gave it to him. That shit crazy, man. Jimmy Buckets was giving buckets, and the team just wasn't. They wasn't there with him, man. They wasn't there with him.
But that's definitely gonna be key for them. Like
And,
Jimmy can't be the main bucket supplier, or at least
I mean,
like
he can
the
be.
bulk
I
the
mean, he
bulk
can
of
be.
it.
He's gonna be the number one option. He's gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's after these years in the Heat uniform. He's shown that he's gonna be that. But I mean, there's got to be guys also along for that ride. He can't be in the car by himself now. I mean, you paying 2 guys like they're all stars. Outside of Jimmy, if I'm not mistaken, Bam got paid 2 years ago, right? If I'm not
I think he just got an
mistaken.
extension. I'm sure. I know Duncan got like people were looking at Duncan's contract that he got, and it was kind of
Yeah,
questionable.
Bam is getting paid. Bam is getting 5 years for $163 million. So he's getting paid like an all-star. Tyler just got his extension, all-star. You guys need to perform like your contract, says you are. Also, yeah, that Duncan Robinson contract was terrible.
They was questioning that for a hot day.
I mean, it's even worse because they weren't playing him. He wasn't playing. Like he had like D's. You getting paid $90 million and you not playing? That shit's wild. That is it's wild, bro. Yeah, the Heat just need to play better. They're in win now mode. They are a contender, and there's really no reason why they shouldn't have beat the Celtics last year. If their supporting players are performing the way that they can, there's no reason why. Like, there's no reason why Bam shouldn't be 20 and 10.
Yeah.
Easily. There's absolutely no reason why he's not a 20 and 10 guy. So, I mean, shit, last year he damn near was 19 and 10, but that drops to like 14 or 15 in the playoffs. We can't have that. We cannot have that. There should be no question who's the second best player on this team. It should be Bam, and then it should be Tyler.
Yeah.
But we don't know. The fact that we're having this conversation just means that, people aren't playing to their expectations. That's all that means. Because I remember the year that the Heat made the finals. I remember Bam 44 game. Yeah, I need them to get it. I need them to figure it out. Get it under control. We're not gonna have Jimmy wasting all time performances like this.
Yeah.
I think my rant is over about the Heat.
Just some that. The Heat definitely got to play more skillful ball. All right, now we get into the meat. Get into the meat. Pacific Division, which on paper, or at least visually from like a couple preseason games as well, looking like a tight race, tight bunch.
It ain't gonna be no tight race. Let's cut the shit. Well, tight race between who?
I say it's a 3-team race.
A 3-team race. Unfortunately, yeah.
I say it's
probably.
Like, as far as what I'm seeing, it's a 3-team race. And even in that third team that I'm thinking of, it could be interchangeable depending on who you ask. But 2
interchangeable for who?
Like
3 for sure. What are we talking about here?
Like I was about to say, like to me, like like the Lakers, when healthy, they gonna compete.
The Warriors, Clippers, and Suns are 100% on making the playoffs. Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
Like all 3 of those teams are 100% playoff locks. They're going to be 1 through 6. Like, yeah, it's just the Warriors, of course, and the Clippers, of course.
Yeah.
And And I mean, the Suns. I mean, we can talk about how
Yeah,
they
but
kind of
that,
they're
yeah,
collapsing into
yeah.
the Mavericks, but
That's
they
why
were
that's
the
why I'm looking
number
at it
one seed.
weird. I'm like, at that point, that's why I feel like you could interchange it.
Man, when we're talking about the regular season though, they were a number one seed. They won 60-something games. You don't go from that to not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be
it would be a massive
who
collapse.
I don't think there's ever been something like that. Or
from
yeah, yeah, I don't,
from one to none.
yeah. So who we touching first?
uh, I'm just
I'm
going
gonna touch
alphabetical
the
order on
Kings.
this one, Loki. You want with Kings?
Oh, you want to go alphabetical order? That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, actually, no, we can start with the Kings. Yeah, like we can start with the Kings. That's probably the quicker one, or one of the quicker ones. Not think, but they did a lot in the off season. I forgot they was going crazy. Or it seemed like they was going crazy. But
So I mean,
mm-hmm.
go ahead.
uh, because they had the Dante DiVincenzo situation, which is kind of weird. Now I think about that, they said they were sabotaging like his like potential of a bigger contract by not playing him. But I mean, I guess that's like water under the bridge at this point. Lost Mo Harkless, Justin Holiday, probably more of the two two main ones in my opinion. I mean, they had Jeremy Lamb at some point too that I completely forgot about. Um, but as far as what they added, they got Kevin Herter through a trade.
Malik Monk.
Yeah, Malik Monk in the free agency. They got Keegan at that fourth pick in the first round. They
Yeah,
signed
yeah.
Delly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did bring Delly back.
Yeah, Deladova.
He's back in the league, baby. The step stopper. Let's go.
In his division at that. That's crazy.
Shit, that's wild. Oh, it's solidified now. The Warriors are not making the playoffs. That's what it is. That's what it is, man.
Delly finna put the locks on him, man.
Finna clamp him. Finna break his entire mental for the whole season. That's a wrap. But nah, those are good pickups. I really like the Monk pickup for them. Spark plug off the bench, can play both sides of the ball, um, can really score, and can really get hot.
Get his shots up. Yeah.
He's a J.R. Smith disciple, I would say.
I ain't gonna lie, hey, he's a microwave for sure. He's a microwave.
Yeah, there's this pod that I watched that kind of they're the first pod that I heard talk about like the concept of like disciples to players. Which I mean, we always talk about comps for players, but they were like the first that I heard like kind of really bring it up in that way. Kind of like players that kind of fall from like a similar tree.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like Malik definitely fits kind of like that JR mode. You know, athletic 6 man, can play both sides of the ball, can handle, can really do everything. Especially offensively, that they want on the court. Crazy athletic,
Nah.
questionable shot selection at times. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there. But and then Kevin Herter, I don't. Yeah, he's a good shooter. He's it's more so just mainly because I feel like he's just been disappointing.
Yeah.
Where people thought he was going to be. I mean, he got drafted. The expectations were high as far as being a running mate. Then it's like, okay, he's not going to be that guy, but can he be like, a starter level player next to Trey? And then they was like, okay, well, maybe he's not that guy either. So then, we're going to trade him. And now he's with the Kings. He's not going to start. So I mean, he's just a role player at this point, a role player shooter, guard depth. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I did have a sneaky suspicion that he would be better for them though, but I feel like he'll be better for them for this iteration of this team.
go for the Kings.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps it's just because the expectation is it, and it's just not there. They don't expect him to do what the Hawks were expecting from him. He's not going to play a lot of minutes, I don't think. So I think those two guards are going to be playing a good amount of minutes. But yeah, I also like. I mean, the Mo Harkless, or no, excuse me, not Mo Harkless. I meant to say the Malik Monk acquisition. I think is the better one. Is what I meant to say. And I like Keegan Murray. I think he's a ready to play type of guy. He's a bucket. He's got good size. He has dual ability as far as being able to play both sides of the ball and be
Jumper was
good on both sides. So yeah. So I definitely like that pickup as well. Who else? That was really the most notables for them. I mean, they made some other signings, but I don't think they're really kind of that impactful. KZ Akpala and things of that nature. But
yeah, I mean,
I don't think that's
they bring up
really.
Nemius Keita, I believe, who
Yeah,
I know that he was as vocal until I seen like some of his stuff in the summer league, so he's been working on his game as well. But the main bulk of like what people are looking forward to was like the trade they made last season with you bring in Sabonis, you got him with De'Aaron, you have Davion Mitchell who pretty much is on a trajectory of like being like a pretty good lock for that guard position with a little bit of a jumper. But I feel like one of their bigger acquisitions as well was their coach. They brought in Mike Brown.
yeah. We'll see how it works. I mean, Mike Brown's had success in this league.
Yeah.
I just but it does seem like a weird fit. Excuse me, but I mean, he's had success in this league, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Remember the interview from the training period for the Kings?
I do not.
It
I
was
haven't seen it.
yeah. So for those that probably that are listening and seen it as well, it was funny because just to see the reaction of other people on Twitter. But Mike Brown was getting interviewed, and a player like yet let out like the loudest yell possible, and everybody just looked around and was like, "Wait, like does that worry you at all?" Like, I think one of the interviews asked him, "Does it worry you?" And he's like, "Nah," and he let out a big yell back and said, "Hey, I love it." If that's an indication of what's going on, like whatever. First of all, whatever they own, and I need it. But second of all, it seems like he's getting the troops rallied, and that's probably one of the things that the Kings have always faltered with, as far as like getting somebody in their coaching situations that not only energize the team, but like you said, like had success in the league for different teams and has a somewhat way of navigating it. So.
I mean, shit, they can yell all they want. If the talent ain't there, they're gonna get clapped either way. So I mean, hey, man, listen.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are two of the better pick and roll players in this league. So I mean, it really just comes down to how good those two can be if they're good enough to carry teams to playoffs. If they're a good enough duo to be the focal point of a playoff contending team. I mean, the time is now. I mean, it really is. I mean, Fox has been in the league for a while now. I mean, people have kind of put him in a certain category. It's time for him to, get to that point. If it doesn't, I mean, it's time. That's really what it's time.
Yeah, especially coming up like Fox saying, he said he hasn't lost this much, more or less. I think that kind of is like his initial, that initial thing that the Kings kind of need to be like, okay, like y'all guys are taking it seriously because De'Aaron is ready for that prime time.
I mean, if they don't make it, it's time to blow it up. I think we talked about this off pod, but I mean, if they don't make it this next year, I would really be looking to either trade Fox or Sabonis or both. I mean, I don't know. It's just quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's very few times where I need to find something out. De'Aaron Fox is one of those cases though. Like I don't know. Like but they gave him the team. relatively, he's got a team around him. So I mean, let's see it.
Yeah.
He's talented, but he's talented enough to be the best player on a playoff / championship level team. Because we know Sabonis isn't. Because he was at the Pacers. They got to the playoffs, but like to be the best player is probably not where he's at. So this is on Fox.
Yeah.
We gotta see.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I don't have a prediction for it, but they should be fighting for the playoffs. Is what they should. Aspire to be.
Yeah. I feel like if anything, if they make the play in, then it should be seen as a plus. Because I don't think they make the playoffs in the last. Shoot, I don't know how long it's been.
They have the American sports. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I think it was after some team in a sport made the
Teams like
playoffs. They was like, yeah, this is the longest drought now. Shoot, I didn't know what team the Clippers. See what went on with them. Obviously, probably. Because like looking at what they lost, like Hartenstein, from a metric standpoint, could be seen as a huge loss as far as rim protection is concerned. But more or less than that, it was like serviceable role player. Well, not serviceable, like role players, bench players, to that extent. But one of the bigger additions they had was John Wall after getting waived by Houston.
Yeah. 5-time All-Star. Last time we seen him play for the Rockets, didn't look bad. Did not look bad at all. So, John is all. We've also never seen John be able to play with talent like this.
Yeah.
Whether you think that whether you like Bradley Beal as a player or what you think about him as a player, how he stacks up against these guys. At the end of the day, he's just one guy. And in my opinion, I don't really think Bradley Beal is better than Paul George. Definitely not better than Kawhi Leonard. So the fact that John Wall gets to play with two of them, two wing scorers, I think is a huge plus. And in the past, one of the issues with the Clippers has always been that lack of a facilitator or a play initiator or playmaker. There's been times where they've had Kawhi and Paul George trying to run the offense.
Yeah.
And it's been dicey. It was better these past 2 years, but I think that's really because they kind of switched the philosophy on how they were doing things. And I will say that allowing Paul George to have the ball in his hands and kind of be able to cook and be on a rhythm, because he's more of a rhythm scorer than Kawhi is.
Yeah.
Kawhi gets to his spots and he gets to work. Paul George to cook and blow up the system, because he's a focal point for this team, and he's not, you're not going to win if Paul George isn't playing at a high level. So it'll be interesting to see. As far as the people that they lost, I'm not too worried, just for that simple fact that you're getting Paul George and Kawhi and John Wall. The last time we saw the Clippers play, none of them were playing. So getting those three players is, to me, significant upgrade over anything that they could possibly lose. They made a bunch of good moves, get a bunch of two-way wings. Maybe not this offseason, but just in previous seasons. They re-signed Nick Batum, re-signed Robert Covington. They also re-signed Zubac. So, and then what's his name? What's the guy's name? They got Norman Powell as well. That's a pick that I want to talk about, or play about. I think he's going to be a guy that can play, can really score, and hey, to me, he's a dog. He get down. So
this team fits for him more or less with the type of
three coach. That's what I mean. That's what that is. Ty Lue at this point is a top 3 coach in this league. The mid game, on the fly, and the way he holds accountable. I mean, it's. I think it's what the Clippers team needs. I think it's what the Stars need for sure. And I mean, listen, I have this Clippers team going pretty far. I go back and forth on whether I'm picking them to go to the finals personally.
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep it a stack. Like the last 3 years? I mean, it's either been on them or injury. So, like, the first year that they were put together, they blew the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. And then the second year they were together, Kawhi gets hurt. And then they lose in 6 to the Suns. Yeah, Kawhi got hurt in the last game against the Mavericks, I want to say. And then Paul George plays, beats the Jazz, and then lose to the Suns. And then last year, I mean, they're both hurt, So I mean, Paul George started the year off, was playing like an MVP candidate early, but then he gets hurt. Kawhi never comes back. So, I mean, yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the conversation or a contender. I guess just because Kawhi's not going to play a lot of games, and Paul probably won't play that many either, as opposed to other stars. But I mean, they should be in this conversation for sure. They have the talent.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Because I mean, anytime you can put John Wall with like the two guys like a Paul George and a Kawhi Leonard, and even like with the way John Wall's like rehab and recovery process has been going, he's his shooting touch has been one of the things he's mainly like really wanted to add a lot more layers to, as far as like with his game and stuff like that. So shooting and spacing really isn't even going to be a problem for them when he's on the floor now, because at some points, obviously he could hit them, but now it's like he's going to be searching for him just as much as the average guy on the bench rotation. So
you said it's going to be a problem?
No, like,
or it's not going to be a problem.
No, like it's not going to be a problem, because like in prior years, like sometimes like people could like leave them open, or like they get lackadaisical and just be like, all right, I'll let him shoot it. But now I don't think it's really going to be that many points where you can just say, all right, I'm gonna let John shoot. As far as him going into this season,
yeah. I mean, I also don't think it's never been, and whether this is based off stats or also perception or both, I don't ever think it's been like to like a Russell Westbrook or like a Ben Simmons standpoint with John Wall as far as shooting, as far as leaving him open. Now I know his percentage.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Suns.
Yep.
And I mean, granted, obviously, like the bigger elephant in the room, like that kind of like trumps, or is kind of like that overhanging fruit, or the overhanging thing outside of like their additions and subtractions, is that the expectations for last season, they kind of folded, ended up losing to Luka. Their locker room at this point, because I remember Monty Williams said he hasn't talked to anybody since that period. They had the stuff with Ayton, as far as like whether or not like they were bringing him back or not. And then when they did bring him back, and he had the media day, didn't really look like he was too happy with anything. So it just throws a lot of things in question for them as a whole.
I'm worried about the locker room. It's interesting. I mean, you can tell like DeAndre didn't want them to match. He didn't. He wanted to go. But I mean, he has his. There needs to be no debate on who the best player on this team. Well, there isn't, but there for a lot of others, it doesn't need to. If that fact that discussing whether
yeah,
Devin Booker. Devin Booker needs to be the best player on this for them to do anything, and then it needs to be unquestioned. DeAndre Ayton needs to play better and evolve his game, and Bridges needs to take another step forward.
Yeah, especially 'cause as far as like Aiton obviously had his kind of meltdown in the last series, but like you said, he has his money now. Whether he wanted to be with the Suns still or not, I mean, he has no choice now. They matched it, so all he can do now is pretty much play his game to the best of his ability. And yeah, as far as Bridges and even Cam Johnson to an extent, obviously, I mean, Cam probably might not have that many aspirations as far as like leaps, but I mean, if he grows, he grows. But the team as a whole really is still when they're all locked in, one of the tougher teams to beat in the entire NBA. It's just them locking in, knowing, like you said, like who's the first option or who's the best player on the team when it comes down to it. And Devin Booker is gonna have to take those necessary leaps as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the leaps are going to come from, but I mean, I don't know. He's already skill wise up there, fundamentals up there, footwork up there. I mean, he's not going to get much more athletic. I guess just get more refined and
yeah,
keep putting more work in. But I mean, he's going to have to average 30, in my opinion.
yeah,
You can't keep asking Chris to do this. I mean, we talk about LeBron James a whole lot, but no, I mean, there was times where Chris was definitely getting his flowers, probably like last year for sure,
yeah.
as far as like playing at a high level. But bro is 37.
He getting up there for sure.
Bro is 37 and 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much he can do.
Yeah, and
Um, and to a certain extent, last year he kind of got. I mean, I hate to say it, but he kind of got exposed
how much?
last year, just just from not being the same player that he used to be. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not an insult. I mean, but like, bro's 37 years old, at 6 feet tall, has had injuries, all type of stuff. So yeah, you got him out there trying to run around, guard, and pick and rolls, and getting switched on to Luka, and like all type of stuff. Like, that's just what happened was supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. Like, so I mean, they're gonna have to make some adjustments for their players. Are going to have to step up. But I mean, this is still a playoff team. Like, let's not get it. Let's not get it confused. You don't go from the 1 seed to not making the playoffs. They're still going to win a lot of games in the regular season. But yeah. Also, the Suns didn't draft anybody either.
Yeah, I
So
mean, as far as like their signings, I mean, you got Jock Landale, which I mean, not really sure what that does for the rotation. I mean, he might play. They got Damian Lee from the Warriors, who's a shooter. So I mean, you get more off your bench with that. But as far as the core of what they did, I mean, it was keeping guys in tow. Like Aiton re-signed, Booker re-upped, Bismack Biyombo was brought back, Ish Wainwright, who was on the team last year. It's really all on them at this point to just make sure they don't let what happened in that last series even in the Pelican series for that matter, like not let that deter them from like still being one of the top teams in the league.
yeah.
Guess now we can get into them guys. Showtime.
Who was the Warriors?
We get to the Warriors.
The Warriors are Showtime.
I'm talking about
You
the
can't be
Lakers.
talking. You can't be talking about the Lakers. That's not Showtime. That's not Showtime. That's not no Showtime. Let's relax.
I mean, hey,
All right, Lakers. Start. I guess I'm gonna start. I start with them. The draft. You know, they took Max Christie. Um, he has good potential. He has good talent. He's a shooter, or projects to be, although didn't show it at certain times at Michigan State.
Yep.
And in the summer league as well. But he's gonna be straight. Has a good feel for the game. Can play on both sides. Can play make a little bit. Probably a 3-level scorer potentially. And then afterwards, as far as other young players, we got added Scottie Pippen Jr., who I like. Tough nose player, can play above his position. Cole Swider, how you pronounce his name?
I think it's Swider. I'm not sure, but might
Right.
be Swider.
Yeah. Another guy's going to kind of float between the G League and two-way contracts. But yeah, let's see what else. Those are really the main additions. Actually, let me check if we sign Shaq Harrison. I know we brought him in as well. Yep. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, sign Shaq Harrison to a contract as well for the Lakers. That's definitely a good contract, in my opinion. To just a tenacious defensive guard, crazy, crazy, crazy athletic. If he could shoot, he would start. Like that's just what it is. Like if he was shooting like 37, 38% from three, he would start. But he's just not. His offensive game isn't up there with his defense yet. But and then free agency. People talk about it, but I like what we did personally. I really do. Uh, Thomas Bryant, a stretch five that can play with AD. That's very important. Uh, allows AD to still be able to operate, but also play at the four if he wants to. We know AD doesn't like to play the five sometimes. And then just adding any type of shooting around the three players that we have, whether it's LeBron, AD, or Russ, is always going to be important. So
Yeah.
Damon Jones also somebody that we signed, a good big. We had him last year. For some reason, we let him walk. I don't get it, but I mean, he's a good rim runner. Can block some shots. You know, has a little bit of a 3-point potential. Maybe, who knows? Hey, maybe that's me being a little you know, stole Juan Toscano Anderson from the Warriors. That's a maybe a rotation guy, maybe, but brings in culture. He can defend. You know what I mean? Like,
Got some bunnies.
we got Troy Brown Jr., also another 3-and-D guy. Hey, listen, we're trying to get as much shooting as we can. Although these guys may not be the household names as far as shooter wise, they all have some pretty solid potential shooting. Yeah, and then obviously, Lonnie Walker. Uh, I probably would have probably went for keeping Malik Monk, but I'm not mad at the Lonnie Walker signing. I think he still has some good potential. It didn't work. It didn't really work out to the expected desired effect with the Spurs, but he's still a young player, still got talent. Still, he's athletic, has the potential to be able to defend at a high level, I think. So yeah, we let Monk walk, we let Melo walk, we let Wayne Ellington. Uh, let these guys walk. I think we probably should still look at probably keeping Melo. Honestly, he was off the bench. He was buckets, buquitos. But they probably won't. Let's see. Also, Kendrick Nunn is not a free agent signing per se, but that's what he is initially because he didn't play at all last year. So seeing him out there playing, very important. He can play make a little bit, secondary playmaker, can score and really shoot the ball. He's just a guy that's going to be able to provide scoring and alleviate pressure. You know what I mean? Like, not I'm not gonna lie. Some of those questionable shots that he was taking in Miami, I gladly welcome them in LA. Please take the shots. We need to. If they're gonna be going in, take the shots. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then I mean, obviously, we traded. We finally traded THT for Patrick Beverly. Well, excuse me, we traded THT and Stanley Johnson for THT and Stanley Johnson for Patrick Beverly. I didn't know that Pat Bev was worth two players. That's news to me, but here we are. I mean, Pat Bev definitely he had a resurgence year for sure in Minnesota. But I mean, hard nosed guard, defensive tone setter, pest, all those things can feisty defense, feisty offense too. It'll give you a little bit more, give you a little bit if you let him. Can shoot the three a little bit more so from a stationary spot up perspective. But I mean, even that still, I mean, being in the corners, being on the wings, ready to shoot the ball is still something we need. So I mean, he stretches the floor a little bit too. I mean, so yeah, I mean, none of this matters if AD's not going to be AD. That's really, I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be laughing, but I'm so serious. Like none of it, not a single thing. I like these additions. If AD is going to be AD, if AD is going to be AD, then it emphasizes everything. The Thomas Bryant signing, Kendrick Nunn coming back. AD has to be. I mean, he has to be the best player on the team. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, but say most of that stuff does revolve around him as far as you got Thomas Bryant for the shooting, lets him work on the block, shooting around him in general as far as like him and Westbrook. So you already know what Brian gonna do. Brian gonna put up.
Brian gonna give you 25 to 30. 6 to 8 rebounds, 6 to 8 assists. That's what he been giving you for the past 15 years. So Brian gonna get that. Well, shit, not even 15. Shit, 19. That's what he been giving you for the past 19 years.
Yep.
25 and plus since his rookie year. So you're right. We know what Brian gonna give. That's just what that is. But I mean, he needs AD to be the best player. Mainly, and when I say that, I don't necessarily mean like maybe offensively better than LeBron, but like when I mean like best player, like because he's gonna have to be good defensively too. Like you're not gonna be asking Bron to like get consistent stops on the defensive end in the regular season at this age. He can definitely still do it, but in pressure situations. So like he's not gonna, you don't want to be asking him to really do that much on that side of the ball at this age. You want him to be a solid defender. Don't be making bad mistakes and at least commit to having yourself in the right position. Don't just be like let people be blowing by you and shit. But I mean, AD is gonna have to be the anchor of the defense. And this team in general has to commit to playing defense, man. Like last year, the defense was atrocious. Like it was god awful. And even like at the time of this recording, they had played the Kings in their last preseason game. Defense was once again bad. They got blew the fuck out by the Kings. It's tough. Tough. This team's weird. They have the top end talent, but at times it feels like the surrounding talent. And Russell Westbrook just doesn't fit with this team. I mean, it's just I've been holding out hope for a while, but I don't.
Finally came around.
It's not me coming around because no, there's no really coming around because I know that Russell Westbrook is still a great player. There are people that act like he can't play. He can play, but it's not about that. It's about this fit on his team, and he's just. It seems that he's just not capable of like playing in a complementary role to this particular team. So I mean, he got hurt last night, so I don't know if the bench thing is going to work. Like I said, he got hurt last night, so I don't know if the bench thing is going to work or the bench role is going to work. But I mean, that's probably the last. That's got to be like the last potential spot because I mean, I don't know, him on the floor with AD and LeBron, it just doesn't seem like it's working.
Hmm.
I don't know, but it's tough because like it's a slippery slope because in my mind, if you trade Russ for like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, yeah, that works and they're better fits for the team. But like, are LeBron and AD going to be healthy? And
Yeah.
granted, like none of this matters if they're not. But it's one of those things. It's like I trust Russ to be able to like win more games if those two are hurt or sitting out or you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
I'm
Russ can
trying
still
now.
steer the ship if those guys aren't able to play.
Like if I'm trotting out Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Dennis Schroeder, Kendrick Nunn, like we're not gonna win that game more than likely. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just one of those things.
it's a tough situation, but I mean, like I kind of thought about it initially when I seen it, but I just felt like in theory, just from the way that like Russ plays and just like I said, like the up and down health status of an AD, it would have been difficult to try to see that like shaping up. I mean, granted, they could probably find strings to pull and somehow, salvage some of the roles and all that stuff, but at this current moment, it does very much look like he's kind of like the odd man out because talent wise, it's still there, like you said. So
Yeah, I mean, I also want to address the fact that while he can still play, he's not what he used to be. Also,
yeah,
just want there. I feel like for some reason, like people also don't really they're not really addressing that. Like out of his prime, still athletic. Don't get me wrong, still athletic. Probably will still end up being top 3 to 5 most athletic player on the court anytime he's there. But it's not what it used to be. Because I mean, we want to talk about smoking layups and shit. I mean, shit. A couple years ago, he was just banging that. It didn't matter. He was
yeah,
gonna
he
bang
was
that.
over
So
the
there's no
top.
smoking. Yeah, there's no smoking up layups. He's just gonna dunk it. And even like the mid range, like I don't know, it's one of the more odd occurrences I feel like in the NBA in recent memory. It's just like like the degeneration of his shooting, like from the free throw line and the mid range, just is odd to me. Like he used to be money from the mid range, and he used to be a good free throw shooter, like 80%. I know
Yeah,
they changed like the rules on what you can do on um your routines on free throw lines and stuff like that, and that impacted him a lot. But it's just weird that like his shooting has kind of took the turn that it has, and it hasn't improved as he's gotten older. You know, because that's usually how
in most cases, it works
players.
for some players.
I mean, yeah, I mean most players, the older you get, the better shooter you become. It's just that it elongates your career, it still makes you effective in the later years when you're not as athletic. So, but he still can't shoot. So, I mean, if he could, like, I don't know, even if you could like hit a mid range consistently, like I don't know, it hurts my feelings. I'm a big Russ guy.
Man,
Um, and I don't. It's so weird that it just doesn't work. Like it don't got to be a perfect fit, but god damn it, you all three of you are professional basketball players. Like just make it work. Like y'all all like.
yeah,
I mean, I'm saying like you're Hall of Fame level NBA players. Like there should be a path for it to work. And the
mm,
season hasn't started yet, so I mean we don't know. But I mean the the preseason shows that I saw they weren't great. So I don't know. I just need. I mean, if the team can just get to the playoffs, then I'll be fine. If they can something whether that's playing or not, if they can get to the playoffs, if they get LeBron and AD in the playoffs healthy, just get them there. I like their chances against anybody if they can just get there. But you know,
yeah.
I mean, because there's nobody in the West that's gonna stop that.
I'm about
There's
to say,
not a
yeah,
single player
full
in the West
healthy.
that can guard. There's not a single player in the West that can guard Anthony Davis. Not a single one.
Hmm.
Shit. you can try Kawhi out there if you want to. He's just not big enough. You know, so and then, I mean, and then obviously LeBron. I mean, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'd definitely be comfortable putting Kawhi on LeBron, but like LeBron's still gonna eat. It's LeBron.
Yeah.
So, and also like LeBron gets up when he plays Kawhi and Paul George, especially when they've been on the Clippers. Like he gets up for it. So
Maybe getting flashbacks. Like that.
flashbacks from who?
No, as far as like like he's seen young Kawhi on the Spurs. He's seen young PG Pacers.
He said, yeah, he said, I'm still your father. Relax.
Let me remind y'all that the losses are still here.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, this team should be focused. I mean, new coach Darvin Ham. I like what I've seen and heard so far. He should really be focused on making his team play defense and trying to maximize this Russell fit if he's going to be there. Well, actually, he has no control if he's there. Just like you focus on making it work. Yeah. I mean, there's a path for it to work. I mean, it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. Like it's just basketball. Like, bro, there's a path for it to work. So, yeah. Lakers. Lakers in the play-in. That's what I got. I got the Lakers are like it's either the 7th or the 8th seed right now. I think they can be the 6th, but I have them as the 7th.
Yeah, I will definitely just see them like sliding in some capacity because I don't think with the way this team is like the way that they did build it, and if like say for the most part like it's like Bron, Russell, in that supporting cast with Bev. I mean, I feel like they still could get that playing spot, and then once they're all healthy, like you said, it could be a free game at that point.
Lakers versus Warriors first round.
Oh, that'd be that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
But nah, it'll be interesting though. I mean, they ain't got nobody to guard AD, so
yeah, it'll be a 7 probably. That'd be a 7-game series for sure.
I'd love to see it because Warriors ain't never had no answer for Bron. They just got Kevin Durant instead. They said we can't guard Bron, so we'll just sign Kevin Durant.
Well, speaking of them,
exactly.
Yeah,
Dude, I did that on purpose. Did you notice?
Yeah, was it a nice little seg. As far as when they lost, they lost most of their bench. I mean, Bielitsa's gone, Lee's gone, Peyton II, Otto, JTA. Well, I don't think JTA really played as much as the other 3, but lost some bench pieces. But in turn, they did had like a little mini youth movement. I mean, you got Patrick Baldwin in the first round, pick 28. You bring in DiVincenzo. You sign Ty Jerome. You also drafted Ryan Rollins, round 2, pick 14. I think he does have a scoring acumen, so it should be interesting to see how he develops. Probably not in the regular season, but for the G League. They pretty much stayed put on a lot of things though outside of that, and been re-signing like Iggy and Looney.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely didn't want to let Peyton walk, but I mean, it's definitely something that they let happen. They could have brought him back if they really wanted to. I mean, he's gonna be over the luxury tax regardless.
Yeah.
This man, they out there printing money. So, but yeah, I mean, I like the DiVincenzo signing for sure. I mean, I've liked Dante since he was at the Bucks. I think they should have traded. Yeah, so I mean, I think he can kind of fill in with that Gary Payton role. I mean, he can play both sides of the ball. He's been a decent shooter or a good shooter for his career. So, and he can handle he can handle the ball as well. Kind of be a little off the ball playmaker as well. So I'm not mad at that acquisition at all. I think as far as everybody else, letting those guys walk. I mean, they're ready to let their young guys uh, have an impact, whether that's Moody, whether that's Wiseman, you know. So they're ready for those things to happen. Um, I mean, yeah, it's really about it for that. Patrick Baldwin, I think, has potential. I don't know how much he's going to play. I mean, he may play just because they probably lack forward wing depth. I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
probably after getting rid of
but I don't.
GCA, he might get slid in to C.
I mean, yeah. So who's the forwards? Draymond, Wiggs, Looney, I guess. More of a center. Yeah, and Kuminga.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he'll get in there. Yeah, because I mean, because with Otto gone, Kuminga will probably play a lot more, and then Baldwin will probably like take have some of the minutes that Kuminga was getting last year, kind of like spot checking here and there, maybe playing a little bit in certain matchups. I mean, if he's successful in his minutes, because I mean, a large part of Kuminga playing last year, even in the times that he did, was because that he brought. I mean, he definitely brought like a new element to that position, but he played well when he was playing.
yeah, brought some energy in and stuff like that. So
But yeah, I mean, oh, and also touching on the Looney thing, they re-signed Kevon Looney as well. 3 years, 22 million.
um,
Yeah, 22 and a half. Um, he's perfect role player.
yeah,
Great for that team.
stepped
I
up
don't know if he's.
in the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, you got a bunch of good rebound games. You know, finished plays when they needed to. He also looked good when they were playing in the preseason in that limited time. So I'm not mad at that either. What else? Uh, I mean, that's really their offseason and their draft. I mean, I was going to talk more about their outlook from a team perspective. Otherwise, if you didn't have
Yeah,
anything else,
yeah,
um,
we probably talk about their outlook more or less because outside of like
yeah,
yeah, like the things that's already been discussed. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, they as of this recording, they signed Jordan Poole to an extension. What was it 140 million? I want to say
yeah. I'm trying to remember if it was like 140 or 130.
it's a 4 years, 140 contract extension. So I mean, and also we also didn't really like. I don't want to talk about this without fully like addressing it. So obviously, this past week we got footage from the Warriors facility that. Uh, well, first we got a news story that Draymond Green struck Jordan Poole during practice, and then we got the video of it. Made it much worse.
Yep.
um, and the Warriors decided to not suspend Draymond Green, which was a surprise to me personally. Um, he decided to take some time away from the team, but he did play in this last preseason game. So they're Poole, so they were both playing out there. Um, yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I would assume that this relationship would be mendable in the same way, but I don't know. I'm not there. But I
Yeah.
mean, you can't just crack me in the face and expect it to be cool. I mean, but
He also had a
also, I
weird way of
mean,
looking at it too, as far as I think I seen something about they asked him about like building the trust back, and he kind of floated around it by saying like he doesn't really know what trust means or like what does it truly mean to be trusted, and it really didn't make sense. And like for what he was implying, whether both sides aren't extending the hand or it's a sided thing, it doesn't seem as mendable as it should be.
yeah, I mean, but also at the same time, it's like they don't got to be friends. If
Of course, yeah,
we just got to play on the same court together and play good basketball. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
cordialness.
I mean, yeah, the Warriors gave Draymond his extension answer today when they extended Jordan Poole. So I don't know. I don't know what that means for Draymond going forward. He's not getting that max contract from them. That's not happening.
Yeah,
They're paying Steph, they're paying Wiggs, they're paying Clay, and now they're paying Poole. Uh, you got, I mean, yeah, you literally got two guys on max contracts, and Steph and Clay, and how much Wiggins is making? Yeah, Wiggins is also making what is that? Shit, 20 plus. He's 5 years, 147 million. Yeah, they're paying all these guys. So yeah,
yeah,
I mean, Wiggins will be a free agent after this year, but they'll probably if they had to choose and Draymond wanted a max extension, I would probably think that they would go with Wiggins over him. I mean, at this point, Wiggins just means more to the team from a production standpoint. Like, obviously, Draymond has the history and things of that nature, but I mean, we all saw like Wiggins was the second best player on this championship team last year. So, first time All Star, elite defender in the playoffs. There's really
yeah.
no way to confuse that. He was elite.
One of the
I
major
mean, he was
pluses.
major plus. Like he was playing great defense on Luca. I mean, Luca's still Luca, but I mean, he was definitely making him work a little harder. And then, I mean, in the biggest stage, the finals, he was stifling Jason Tatum. Like, you know, really causing him issues. And the thing is, it's like Andrew Wiggins at 6'8" is probably one of the most athletic players in the league. So, you know, he's locked in, it's a problem.
Man,
And we've always known he's had the ability to score his whole career. I mean, it's always been there. It literally has. So
yeah,
yeah, he's definitely somebody that they should keep around as opposed to Draymond, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Draymond after this season. It'll also be interesting to see how this Jordan Poole situation, if it hovers over the team and the chemistry going forward. I don't think it will, but I mean, it's something to keep an eye on. I mean,
yeah,
but
most
shit,
definitely.
the Warriors still have Steph Curry, so I mean, they'll be a contender. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a couple storylines with this team. Honestly, I'm curious to see who takes a step forward. If anybody if Clay gets back to his previous self, or if this iteration of Clay is what he's going to be. Period, which is fine. He can. I mean, if this is what we're going to be seeing with Clay for the rest of his career, it's still a very good, productive NBA player. It's not an all star though anymore,
Yeah,
and I mean, he has to understand that and what that means as far as the pecking order for him, if that's going to be how it is. Because I mean, going forward, if he's not able to get back to that level he was, he won't be higher on the pecking order than
yeah.
Wiggs or Poole. I mean, and that's fine. That's
It's the way of
you guys
it's
start.
the way of the league at that point. People are
Yeah,
going to
I
get
mean,
slotted out. So at some point,
yeah, like you guys started this dynasty, but I mean, everybody's not going to keep their same roles throughout it. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels,
yeah,
and unless your name's Steph Curry, you are, you're liable to get, you know, your role switched around. So it is what it is. But I mean, this team is nice. It's, as they should be. They're printing money.
man. Yeah, I mean, as far as like the core of the team or the core and the center of the team, as long as Curry's still there, they're making something shake. And as far as the Draymond stuff, I kind of already had a feeling that I think it might have been 2 seasons ago or last season. I might have been probably 2 seasons ago, where Draymond was kind of already kind of wondering where his extension situation was at. And every single time I kept seeing like dudes getting re-upped and the potential of them looming towards like his impending free agency, it never seemed like the urgency was there. So Not to say that like that's where anything like stems from as far as like tension, because I doubt Draymond would have that much harboring over Poole, but they're definitely going to go in a completely new direction. I feel once that contract is up and they really have to kind of, well, obviously like they're going towards the future anyway. I mean, Poole, Wiggins, Kuminga, Moody, like Wiseman, you have pretty much your next generation in theory on your roster right now. So that's probably mainly the core of it for why they probably might not be. Because I think Draymond's the second oldest out of the three.
Uh, I mean, I don't know who's the. I know they're all 30 at this point. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Cause I guess I know Curry's up there. I'm not sure if Draymond's older than Clay or not, but like as far as like just like windows and stuff like that, as far as that is concerned, I mean, they kind of made their mind up. Like you said, when they gave Poole the extension, and then obviously at the end of this season, I'm pretty sure Wiggins is getting his bag as well. So
Oh, they're they're definitely going to resign him. It would
it would confuse a lot of people if Wiggins
Wiggins
wasn't
would
back.
have to. Yeah, I mean, but he's also unrestricted, so
Yeah,
he has to go. It's also a situation where he has to want to go back. Which I mean, I really don't see why he wouldn't. Um, I mean, I don't know, this upcoming year will be interesting to see. I don't
yeah,
see why Wiggins wouldn't want to go back to the Warriors. I mean, shit, great place to live. You play with Steph Curry. You're getting accolades, individual and team wise.
yeah. You're in Cali, you know.
Exactly. So I don't know why he wouldn't. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bob will be tired of paying the luxury tax. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Warriors definitely want to bring him back. But it just depends. I mean, he'll definitely have other suitors as ready to spend money on him though for sure.
Shoot, the way it's looking for Toronto, they might be ready to throw bags at people. I heard SGA, they might want to bring the Canadians back. You never know.
Yeah. Hey, it could happen.
Yeah, so definitely, definitely on and off the court, the Warriors are having a very interesting dynamic as far as roster construction, and just they're the defending champions, so obviously they're under the microscope. But
Their road to the finals won't be as easy as it was last year. I will say that it wasn't too hard. I'm
yeah,
gonna keep it a stack. I don't even know who they played in the first round. To be honest, who they play? Oh yeah, Nuggets. Yeah,
yeah. But I said they played a depleted
uh,
Nuggets team. Then they played the
yeah.
Grizzlies.
With the Grizzlies with a hurt Ja,
Yeah, Ja got hurt.
and then they played the Mavericks with just Luca,
Yeah,
and
Luka
I mean
and some
Jalen was there.
players. Well, Jalen was still there.
Yeah, but I mean even still, it was they overachieved.
Yeah, people already knew like if the Mavericks got past Phoenix, then Golden State was going to the championship to an extent.
Exactly.
So,
So yeah, the Suns really blew that one.
yeah.
But it is what it is, man.
Yeah. But my phone just died. What the? Oh, yeah, never mind. But yeah, I guess that wraps it up for the divisions. Pretty setting up for a pretty interesting, pretty competitive season, might I add. Launching next Tuesday, correct? I think.
Yep, as of this recording.
Yeah, launching next Tuesday. Uh, we'll be doing like a season preview as well, as far as who do we see holding up that trophy at the end, MVP, etc., etc. Um, as always, you can follow the podcast at Going for Three Pod on Twitter, and also checking for it on Instagram as well. So where could these fine fans follow you at?
I'm at Christy Collins on Instagram and Twitter.
And as always, for me at PTP_99 for all your Pistons rants tweets throughout this upcoming season. But yeah, appreciate you guys for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.